I'm so happy today, guys, and I'm not gonna tell you why. Nope, I'm sorry, that's for next week. Because today we're talking about shooting a commercial at home, on a table, or at your desk. On a desk. At your desk. Shooting a commercial at your desk or on your desk? I don't know. Let me know. So, I hope you're also doing great, and no, better than great. I hope you're doing... What's better than great? I hope you're doing extraordinarily great, and I also hope that some of you are already shooting a commercial for my latest challenge, or at least planning to shoot one. And I'll drop a link in the description because you can still enter if you want. But yeah, so let me give you some tips for shooting a commercial at home, on a table, or at your desk. And if you've already finished your commercial for the challenge and by the end of this video you're like, damn, I didn't think about that, don't worry, these are not rules, just some tips, some inspiration and advice. And you don't have to follow this advice to win the challenge, you know what I mean? So don't worry about it. Okay, so first of all, what I always try to do is make sure that the viewer can't see that your commercial was shot on a table or at your desk. Now, it is possible to create something super cool with just a product and a white background, like I showed you a few months ago when I shot this Tic Tac commercial. And I'll put a link to all the behind the scenes videos also in the description, so you can check them out if you want. But anyway, yeah, so it is possible, but usually I try to make it a lot more engaging visually. I use props and an interesting background, and that doesn't mean that you have to spend money, guys. No, just improvise, look around, there's always something that you can use. For my pirate commercial, I used the gray blanket in the background to create some, yeah, what is it, a velvety pirate look? I don't know how to call it. And I made it blue by using an RGB light. And I think it makes the viewer feel like the bottle is on a pirate ship. And for my cola commercial, I used a vinyl record player to hide the fact that I was shooting right here at my desk. Because that's the thing, sometimes I see these commercials and I can see that it's a tabletop or a desktop. And that's what you should try to avoid. So try to find a way to hide the fact that you're shooting on a table or at your desk. Cover the tabletop, add some props, a simple background, and then also light. Light is super important, guys. And again, you don't have to buy a bunch of super expensive lights. A window works just fine. But, you know, if you really want to take it to the next level, then you should add some extra lights. A small RGB light, for example, does miracles. Because you can light the rim of the product, or you can give the background another color. And if you don't have any lights, guys, reflection panels. Cardboard, plastic, paper. Use something to reflect the light, especially if you only have one light source. It's super useful and it makes a huge difference. So if you only have one light source over there, then put a reflection panel over here to reflect the light and lighten up the shadows. Okay. And the next is details. Guys, I think I mentioned this in all my tips videos. Details. It's all about the details. And sometimes I get obsessed with the details. That's maybe a step too far, but details are important. Because, you know, especially when you're shooting on a table or at your desk, it's a limited space and you're close to everything, so, you know, people will notice the details. The best example is, again, my rum commercial, the pirate commercial. Because I used normal ice cubes first, but I didn't like the results. Something was missing. And then I found these super cool skull-shaped ice cubes. So I bought some of those, and I had to wait for a few days before I could resume the shoot, but it was well worth it because that detail, that skull ice cube, that's what made that commercial a success for me. And I hope you like it too. And if you haven't seen the behind the scenes yet, link in the description. Okay, and next is music. Right, music. You all know it's super important. A commercial without music? Impossible. But what I always try to do is I try to find something different. Not the usual kind of music for whatever type of commercial I'm creating. And I know it's difficult to explain, it's also very subjective, but you know, check out my cola commercial and the rum commercial. Listen to the music and I hope you'll understand what I mean. Try to find something different, not like the first thing you find and you're like, oh yeah, that's okay. No, you have to find Wow. I had too much coffee. I can feel it. It's okay. I'm gonna calm down. Okay. Okay, so music. Just check out some of my commercials and then... Whatever. Next. Next is... Wow. Next is movement. And look, if you're shooting all by yourself, then getting movement in the shots is one of the difficult things to do. And I think most of you are usually shooting by yourself, right? Now, you can add camera movement, but then the product won't move. Or you can put the camera on a tripod and then move the product. But again, then it's just the product moving. The real winner is when you can move both the product and the camera. Then you get a really dynamic shot. Again, you don't need to buy an expensive slider or something like that. Improvise. I've used strings, I've used my record player as a lazy Susan, you know, that rotating platform. So there are ways to move both the product and the camera by yourself. You just have to improvise and be creative. And also forget that you can add digital movement in post, and that's also okay. But try to avoid an entire commercial with just static shots, you know? For a commercial, it usually doesn't work unless it really adds value to the story. For a funeral home commercial, I guess, something like that, I don't know. But, you know, commercials usually are very dynamic and they're moving because they're super short. Okay, and then finally, most importantly, don't get discouraged while you're shooting the commercial. It's a mistake I've made many times before. Because the thing is, you're shooting a commercial on a table or at your desk. It's not very professional, and while you're shooting, you start thinking, what am I doing here? It's gonna look like crap. And then you get frustrated. That's what happens. Well, that's what happens to me at least. But, you know, the thing is, once you start editing and you add music and sound effects, that's when the commercial comes to life. So what I like to do sometimes is, when I already have a few shots, I stop, I take a break, and I go edit. I start editing the few shots that I already have, and I add some music and some sound effects. And it makes all the difference, because then you'll see that it's not as bad as you were thinking. And also the rest of the shoot will be a lot easier, because now you have a vision in your head. You can clearly see where you want the commercial to go. And you'll also get new ideas based on that short edit, new shots that you want to do, because you know now what works and what doesn't work with the music that you're gonna use. You know what I mean? So if you get frustrated and you're not sure, just take a break, go edit the shots that you have, add some music, and you'll see in 90% of the cases, it's not as bad as you were thinking. The key to a good commercial is you have to make all the puzzle pieces fit together. The background, the product, the props, the lighting, camera movement, angles. You know, all of that has to be compressed together in one... Man, I'm really bad with like when I start doing some of these metaphorical and I want to compare it. My English is just not good enough to do complicated, poetic. I'm gonna end the video here, guys. I'm very curious to see what you come up with, so keep me posted, tag me, use the hashtag, I want to see it. And then in a few weeks we'll know who the winner is. And if you haven't started yet, why haven't you started yet? Do you really want me to come over there and kick you in the butt? I will. Oh, I will.